I don't know why that's attractive, but it is. Hi friends, it's me again. Welcome to this month's reading wrap up. Before you say it, just hear me out, okay? I read a total of 5 books this month and 2 novellas. Should I be proud of myself? Not really, but I am, considering the fact that I am moving. I'm trying to find another job, and life this month has just not been fun for me. Like, I've been crying, and not over books, so not the fun crying, you know? It's been a hell of a month. I feel like I say that every month, but bear with me. I am adjusting to big girl things, and I'm not having a good time. Without further ado, let's just jump into the 5 books and 2 novellas that I managed to read this month. The first book I read this month was Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas. This is the 3rd book in the Devil's Night series. In my last reading wrap up, I mentioned how I was starting it and I was not liking it, hated it, would not have recommended. Everyone was telling me to keep going until I got to at least Damon's book, because apparently that's when the series started to get really good and things started to make sense. I can confirm that they were right. Damon's book was phenomenal. I really enjoyed myself. I ended up giving this a 4-star. There's really so much that happens in this book, and I can't really say much without giving spoilers, obviously. I'm gonna try my best here, but this book follows Damon and Winter. Winter is blind. When she was young, Winter had an accident as to why she's blind, and Damon kind of had something to do with that. So throughout the entire book, it's told in past and present timelines like the other 2, where you are trying to figure out Damon and Winter's past and what happened when they were in high school, and then their present, where another plot kind of takes form and you are trying to see them interact after they haven't done it in a long time. I was very surprised by this, because I hated Damon with a burning passion. Like, this was the character that was the absolute worst out of all of the horsemen, which is saying something. But the way that he softened for Winter specifically, it melted my heart. Like, I really do love that trope of the most horrible character getting his redemption arc through a female main character who was the complete opposite, who was so soft, and they just meshed so well together, and I wasn't expecting it. They are for sure my favorite couple in the Devil's Night series. Very surprising for me, like I said, but I really love them. Winter is so adorable and just so sweet compared with Damon, who is a literal menace to society. So seeing them interact and fall in love was mwah, so good. The spice in this book was also phenomenal. Like, Penelope kind of did that. So since Kill Switch was the book that completely sold me on the Devil's Night series, like, I actually started to really enjoy it, I picked up the novella, which is Conclave. It was only about 100 or so pages, so I finished that relatively quick, and I really like this, mainly because it did a good job at setting up Will's book. You also just see so much character development within the other characters. Like, Michael and Rika, I really did not care about them in their own book. Like, they were just a very meh, okay-ish couple. They did nothing for me, but in the novella they kind of served. I actually really started to like Rika and appreciate Michael with her. It gave me a lot of what I didn't feel in Corrupt. Damon and Winter's moments in this book were my fave, and I think I'm just biased towards them, but their scenes were just so sweet and so wholesome, so hot. Like, I really love them so much. This was a really good novella to continue on the series, because I was starting to dread the Devil's Night series ending. Like, I had 1 book left and it was Will's, and I was really looking forward to it. I decided to put a pause in it because I didn't want to finish it just yet. So I decided to pick up Flawless by Elsie Silver, because I constantly see so many people talk about it and it had cowboy vibes. So I was like, ooh, let's switch this up, because I've been reading a lot of dark romance lately. So in this book, you are following Summer and Rhett. Rhett is a bull rider. I don't know why that's attractive, but it is. Rhett is caught on film saying that he does not like milk, which apparently is the worst thing you can do as a bull rider. His sponsors were really upset by this, because it just wasn't a good look for a bull rider to not like milk, which is still like a really funny and creative premise, but it worked. Like, you're a bull rider and you don't like milk and you are sponsored by most milk companies. Like, phenomenal. In comes Summer, whose dad works with Rhett, and she really wants to step up in the company, so she decided to essentially be Rhett's kind of agent. So she's looking out for him, making sure he's not getting into any more trouble by saying he doesn't like milk. At first he's not about it. He's like, this prissy city girl is not gonna tell me what to do, and why is she here even though she's hot, you know, the vibes. And Summer kind of has the same attitude. Like, this is a man child and he doesn't want to behave. He's kind of the man whore. Like, he just likes to play around and he's not taking anything seriously. You really see these 2 characters kind of break down and struggle with how they're perceived by other people, so you really get a good dive into Rhett's head and seeing that he is a very serious person. Everyone else just doesn't think so. Overall, it was a really sweet, cute read with small town cowboy vibes, which is a thing for me. Like, I actually would like to save a horse and ride a cowboy. So if you're looking for something quick and light, I highly recommend it. And there's another book coming out which I'm super excited about because I think it has to do with Rhett's brother, so that should be very exciting. Next, I received An Arc of Mercy by Sarah Kate. This is the fourth and final book in the Salacious Players Club series. I've been talking about the series all summer. I feel like this book specifically follows Maggie, who was one of the owners of the Salacious Players Club, and then Bo, who was Emerson's son. And Emerson's book is Praise, which is the first book in the series. I was really excited to get to this because the way Bo was portrayed in the first book was horrible. Like, he was a horrible human being, and I just did not care for his character. I was like, how is he gonna redeem himself? Because I'm just kind of like meh about him. Like, he can go fuck himself. I was also excited to see that he was paired with Maggie because this is a dom sub book where the female main character is the dom and the male main character is the sub, and I haven't really read a lot of them, so I was really excited to see how Sarah Kate was gonna portray this. The book essentially starts with Maggie kind of wanting to know more about her kink because she always gets asked because she runs a sex club and she's kind of more reserved and doesn't like talking about it. So her group of friends decided to get her to take the kink quiz, and she found out that she was a dom, and it was very surprising for her. And then on the other hand, Bo decided to take this random quiz as well, even though he hates the idea of the kink club and what his dad does and the fact that his dad is with his ex-girlfriend. So he decided to take the quiz, and he found out that he was a submissive. The tension was there for sure, especially when Maggie and Bo found out who they were essentially talking to through this app. It was sexy, it was steamy, it was hot. However, I know I have the unpopular opinion when it comes to this book because I did give it a 3.5 star. I just did not really vibe with the chemistry of Maggie and Bo. Sometimes it felt forced, sometimes it felt underdeveloped, and I felt like Bo's character growth was only reliant on being with Maggie. So there were often times where Maggie legit felt like his babysitter and not his partner, and I didn't really like that idea for the plot of a female dom and a male sub. Like, in hindsight, I get it, but also I just wanted to see it kind of play out very differently because to me it really did feel like Maggie was there to babysit him and not in a sexy way. So I really wanted the plot to go in a completely different way. I didn't think that Maggie and Bo really got justice for their situation, but like I said, it's a very unpopular opinion. Everyone loves this book. I am the only one who really had issues with the dynamic, it seems like. I'm sad that I didn't love this book, but I also thought that it was a great way to end the series. Like, it was a very good full circle moment. I myself took the kink quiz because I was very curious, and I think a major reason too is I found out that I am not a dominant person at all. Like, dominant is kind of really low on my list and submissive isn't, so that's probably why I didn't really vibe with this book as much as I wanted to, because it really was not for me essentially. So I would love to try again with more books that are female dom, male sub. So if you have any good recs, please let me know and I will check them out. So after that, I finally decided to pick up Nightfall, the last book in the Devil's Night series. This is Will's book, and let me just start off by saying William Aaron Payne Grayson III is my boyfriend. I don't know what it is about this man, but he is so hot. Like, he is so hot. I really was not expecting to love him as much because just like the rest of the Horsemen, they were all horrible characters, but just seeing their character development within the last book and how they really interact and seeing how funny Damon and Will are together, it really just took me out and made me love them a lot now that they had personalities developing besides being psychotic. With everything that went on in the first 3 books in the novella, I was very excited to get to this. This book really ties everything together. You are following Will and Emery. Will was head over heels in love with Emery when he met her in high school, and she wanted nothing to do with him, so it's very much boy pining after the girl. So Will is a simp, and we love to see it. In high school, they just did not vibe at all. She hated him, wanted nothing to do with him or his friends, and he was trying his hardest to get this girl to like him because he really, really loved her. So it was really cute seeing him be soft and sweet for her when they were in high school. And then you have the present chapters, which I really cannot say anything about because it will essentially give away the entire premise of the book. But the present chapters are kind of forced proximity vibe, like they are forced to see each other. It's against their will, and they want nothing to do with each other. Like, something really bad happened between them. They have not spoken in years. They haven't reached out to each other. Like, it was a lot of emotional damage to repair, and they were a train wreck. They were very, very toxic for each other, but then by the end everything kind of got resolved, which is like awesome, great, love that for me. Will just gives me golden retriever but bad boy vibes. Like, he's a mix of both, and I find it so attractive. Like, this man just dancing on a table was enough for me. I tabbed so much in this book of just his mannerisms. So him just sitting there or walking somewhere, he had tattoos. Like, this man is hot, and I had so much fun reading this. This is a hefty book. It's over 700 pages, and it took me a while to read it because I didn't want to say goodbye to the series because I was really starting to love it. I can attest to the fact that the last 2 books really did save the series for me. I had a really good time reading them, and I was actually sad to say goodbye, which was a complete 180 to the vibe I was feeling with Corrupt and Hideaway, because I did not like those. Thank you, Damon, Winter, and Will, for saving the series for me, because without them I would have given up. I had a lot of fun. Check up trigger warnings with this series. Like, this is definitely something I had to set aside my morals to read. It was very much suspension of disbelief. I could not go into these books with my morals. I'm still trying to find them as we speak. I ended up giving Nightfall a 4.5. Then after Nightfall, I picked up the last novella in the Devil's Night series, which is Fire Nights. I ended up giving this a 3. It was a really cute novella, like seeing everyone together for a specific holiday that they celebrate. I just feel like the plot in this one kind of took away from the characters that I wanted to see. I feel like this book did a good job of highlighting Kai and Banks, because you really don't see a lot of them in the other books. I don't know, Kai and Banks, they were still very kind of like boring to me. Like, they're not my favorite couple in the series for some reason. I don't know what it is about them, but they just don't excite me. But they were cute. Damon and Winter had their cute little moments. Really appreciate them, obviously. But by the time we got to Michael and Rika's and Will and Emery's point of views, the novella took on a big plot, so you really weren't seeing a lot of the couples just being couples, because they were all kind of on a mission to do something, which was fine, but it wasn't what I really wanted in a novella. It was okay. I just really wanted to see it play out differently, especially because the novella ended where it's like there could have been more questions that were answered. It almost hinted at a spinoff, but apparently there won't be a spinoff of the Devil's Night series, so it just kind of felt like, why, you know? So it was okay. So I officially finished the Devil's Night series. I don't know if I recommend it, just because, like I said, I struggled a lot with it, and I understand why some people love it and I understand why some people hate it. It's very much up to you. I really had a good time with the last 2 books. And then the last book I read this month was The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas, who wrote The Spanish Love Deception. If you didn't know by now, I love The Spanish Love Deception. I literally have 5 different copies of that book. I don't know how that happened, don't ask me, but I do. So in this book, you were following Rosie, who is Lena's best friend, and then Lucas, who is Lena's cousin. And in The Spanish Love Deception, Rosie kind of hinted that she had a crush on Lucas, so I was really excited to jump into their story. And this was the ultimate palette cleanser for all of the dark romance that I've been reading this month. Like, this was very cute, very wholesome. Like, you just wanted to hug these 2 characters so much because they're so adorable. So basically what happens in this book is Rosie's apartment kind of literally collapses. So she decided to crash at Lena's place while Lena is on her honeymoon with Aaron. And while she's there, Lucas shows up because Lena told Lucas that he can crash at her place while he's in town. So they're both trying to figure out like who should stay and who should go, and they both decide to just end up being roomies. But they decide to keep it a secret from Lena, and they just become like besties, even though Rosie has the biggest crush on him. Like, she's been cyber stalking him this whole time. So Rosie is a secret romance author, and she has a really big case of writer's block. So she just feels stumped, and like she's made a mistake in quitting her job and becoming an author. So essentially Lucas comes up with the plan to take her on experimental dates to try to get her out of her writer's block. This book is told in dual POV, so you get to be in Lucas's and Rosie's head, which was kind of scary for me because this is a slow burn and The Spanish Love Deception was not dual POV. I was kind of nervous on how this was gonna go because when it comes to slow burn, I like being in one person's head. I don't really want to know what the other love interest is thinking because I feel like it's kind of taking away the tension. I think Elena did a good job with establishing a very kind of platonic feel to Lucas and how he felt about Rosie. So you know that Rosie has a crush on him, but when you're in his head, he's not like, oh my god, like I love her, blah blah blah. Like, he's really warming up to just being her best friend first. So I thought that was done really well because I was very nervous about it being dual POV because I felt like it was gonna feel too insta-lovey at times, but surprisingly it didn't. So I really loved that. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really loved it. Some things that happened at the ending I was just kind of like meh, okay, and then I kind of wanted to feel more of the tension between the 2 characters, which takes me back to I think I would have loved this even more if it was just told through Rosie's point of view. But either way, I had a great time. I am so excited for you guys to hold this next month. It was really cute, and since this is only Elena's 2nd book, I think she did a pretty good job with these 2 characters, and having the Aaron and Lena cameos were amazing. It was very fun, really cute and fluffy. So if you are in the need for something along those lines, highly recommend. All right, besties, that was my August. Nothing too out of the ordinary. I don't think I rated anything 5 stars this month, which is fine. This month was just all over the place for me and I barely had time to do anything. So when I did find the time to pick up a book, I felt like I was way more critical of it than I probably normally would be. Either way, it was a pretty solid month. I finished a series that's been on my TBR for a long time, read 2 new releases, and picked up a very popular TikTok book. So all in all, I had fun. I can't wait for next month because I have a lot of books that I really want to get to. As usual, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, please subscribe, and I will see y'all next time.